Hi, I'm Jonathan Wilcox discussing local issues here in the state of Connecticut. You know, Connecticut's budget has been in the news recently, as it always is. What else is new? We passed two-year budgets in Hartford instead of the usual one. As you see over in New York, they have such trouble passing those one-year budgets because everybody wants to spend. But to Connecticut, big problems. Nobody wants to cut any state spending up there. Some Republicans do, although they want to nibble at the edges, and they ought to take a more bold stance on the whole thing. This discussion of apologizing for wanting to cut a little here and a little there is not getting it done. We are living in times of dire economic recession. You could say that Connecticut has had a recession for years. I remember the early 90s when we went into recession, when we had a real estate crash. It was more commercial than residential. That was a disaster. Actually, it impacted residential quite a bit. But the problems then, it took the whole Northeast years to get out of that recession, and only when we practiced a little fiscal austerity and going towards balanced budgets in Washington did this area come out. We did actually cut taxes, and it did help the Northeast. But the Northeast is in horrible shape financially. It's directly attributable to the fact that we've offshored jobs through taxation and regulation in every one of these states. The combination of the state's tax policy with the feds and then the regulations that come with both from the federal government and the state government have ruined industry and job growth in the whole Northeast, including New Jersey and New York, which are not included in the broad term, the Northeast. So it's very, very interesting. Just look at upstate New York as an example. The same thing is happening in Connecticut as has happened in upstate New York. Corning Glass, 3M, all kinds of people, GE, manufacturing railroad cars in Utica and Schenectady. You can say that several times fast. Anyway, it's a joke. Albany is directly responsible for what's happened in New York. And Hartford is directly responsible for the job losses that we've had in Connecticut. Nobody wants to take account for that. In truth, the whole legislature should be voted out of office right now up in Hartford. They're doing us no good. They're politically correct. They're all about government and the whole welfare lobby. That's all they represent, the welfare lobby, as Barack Obama does. Barack Obama's just rolled out more middle class and poorer American tax credits. It's ridiculous. We don't need more welfare. We are spending ourselves into debt and thereby into oblivion. And it's going to show up. It's not going to look like Weimar Germany, but it will show up in added interest costs at some point when businesses and individuals want to borrow in 3 to 4 years' time. That's when this stuff is all going to hit. And I'll tell you what, Hartford and Albany, by extension, they don't get it. And they're not going to get it. But we're in for real tough times. And we're not producing anything here. You cannot say that we're going to go forward and survive on a service and high-tech industry. No, sure, you should have those things, but you still need to make sneakers in the United States. I don't care what anyone says. Not everybody is highly educated. Not everybody is moderately educated to the extent that you need for these high-tech jobs. It's not there. It's unrealistic. You've got an illegal immigration policy problem in this country that fuels the need for those jobs. But I'm not going to support illegal immigration, saying we should build low value-added factories in the United States to satisfy their needs. And I'm interested in the people who've been here for several generations who are poor and trying to get out of poverty and the whole culture of poverty. But anyway, we'll be discussing all of this a lot more future viewings here in communications. Anyway, I'm Jonathan Wilcox. Thank you for listening.